I sat in the dimly lit living room, listening to the familiar sounds behind the wall, my husband's footsteps, his quiet sigh, the clinking of keys landing on the table. Everything was the same as always, yet there was a hollow emptiness in this normalcy. He came home late, just like the past few weeks. He walked in, nodded at me without even a smile, and went straight to the bedroom. No words about his day. No questions about mine. Not even a fleeting touch, as if there was now an invisible wall between us, unseen but tangible. I watched his back and tried to recall the last time we truly talked, laughed, held each other. When was the last time I felt desired? How long had it been since he kissed me, not out of habit, but with real passion? Something had changed. It was as clear as the street lamp outside, casting long shadows on the walls. I felt it in my skin, in my bones, but I was too afraid to name it. The room felt stuffy, so I cracked the window open, letting in the crisp night air. I wanted to take a deep breath, to let something alive rush into me along with the wind. I closed my eyes, listening to the whisper of the night, but all I could hear was his voice, not the one that used to say my name with warmth, but a different one. Distant, dull, almost indifferent. I didn't know exactly what was happening, but I knew one thing: tonight would be different. Tonight would change everything. I will take a short pause. Write in the comments where you are listening from. Have you ever experienced something similar? Your thoughts and experiences are always interesting. And of course, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next part. Now, I continue. It all started so innocently. I never thought I would go this far. My son from my first marriage was a grown, independent man, living his own life. He rarely shared his problems, but he always noticed mine. Unlike my husband, he saw everything, even the things I hadn't yet admitted to myself. One evening, we sat in the kitchen. My husband, as usual, had gone to bed early, claiming he was too tired, and I stayed behind, finishing my tea. He looked at me closely and suddenly said, "You look unhappy." I smiled, trying to brush it off, but something inside me trembled. When was the last time someone had asked me that? When was the last time someone truly cared? "It's nothing," I replied. "Just tired." But he didn't look away. His eyes seemed to see straight through me, into the thoughts I was too afraid to speak aloud. From that night, everything began to change. He started visiting more often, and I found myself waiting for him. Now, I chose a dress before he arrived, adjusted my hair in the mirror. I knew it was wrong, but for the first time in a long time, I felt alive. Boundaries blurred, words became deeper, glances lingered a little too long. It wasn't just interest, there was something else in the air, a tension that made my skin warm even in the cool room. But I didn't realize how far it had gone. Not until one night, when he got too close. It happened unexpectedly. Once again, my husband brushed me off, saying he was too tired. His voice was hollow, like the sound of a door closing, shutting me out long before I had even left. He went to the bedroom without a kiss, without even a glance in my direction. I stayed in the dimly lit living room, surrounded by the soft glow of a table lamp. Inside me, it was just as dark as the night outside. I stared into my half-empty cup of tea, but my thoughts had nothing to do with it. And then he walked in. I felt his presence before I even looked up. The faint sound of his footsteps, the warmth of his breath somewhere nearby, and finally, our eyes met. We didn't need words. Everything had already been decided, long before either of us realized it. The room suddenly felt suffocating, even though the windows were open. The air had changed, heavy, charged with something unspoken. I took a deep breath, but it wasn't enough. He didn't look away. And in that moment, nothing else existed. No past, no future. No boundaries, no hesitation. Everything that had held me back before simply disappeared. This wasn't a spontaneous decision. It was inevitable. But while I lost myself in the moment, I had no idea my world was about to collapse. That after this night, morning would bring a reality I wasn't ready to face. I thought everything would remain a secret. After that night, I lived with the illusion of freedom, believing I could hide everything. I convinced myself that I could go on as before. That I could smile at my husband over breakfast, answer his meaningless questions, pretend nothing had happened. But life does not tolerate lies. The next day, my husband left for work. I finally felt safe. The memory of the night still lingered in the air, and I let myself close my eyes under the hot stream of the shower, enjoying the moment. Everything seemed under control. But when I stepped out, everything changed. I froze. He was standing in the doorway. Not my son. My husband. The world shrank to the intensity of his gaze. There was no rage in his eyes, no tears, not even disappointment. Only understanding. Cold, quiet, as if he had known for a long time and was just waiting for confirmation. "I know everything," he said softly. My fingers clutched the towel, but I no longer felt the fabric. The ground beneath me seemed to disappear. "What are you talking about?" I tried to speak, but the words stuck in my throat. He stepped closer. Slowly, deliberately. I felt the walls closing in, the air growing heavier, the night that had once changed my life now crushing it. "You thought I wouldn't notice?" His voice was calm, but something about it terrified me. "You thought you could live as if nothing happened?" I wanted to explain, to say something. But what? What words could undo reality? I thought I had control. But the truth was, I had only delayed the inevitable. I didn't know what would happen next. Could I escape this triangle? Or would I now have to live with the consequences of my choice? Write in the comments what you think about this story. Have you ever experienced something similar? Your thoughts are very important to me, and I truly appreciate each and every one of you. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a like so you don't miss new exciting stories. And before you go, if you listened until the end, write in the comments, "Life does not tolerate lies." Wishing you a great day, and see you in the next stories.